The PlayStation 5 has been in the market for about 1 year now. And if you just got your hands on one, or you're looking to find some interesting hidden features that this console has, stick around because there's some very interesting ones, and some of them are essential. I'm surprised PlayStation themselves, Sony, doesn't even talk about them. So let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with HDMI linking. If your TV supports it, you know when you turn on your PlayStation, it will automatically turn on television. Now to the person, this could be an inconvenience or very convenient. In my case, this is a pro. The only con, however, is when you turn off the console, it sometimes can turn off your television. And this could be a pro and con, again, all depending on the person. But if you actually go into system settings and go into system and then go into the HDMI section, you'll see enable HDMI link enabled. This should be enabled by default. Now there's a couple of settings here you can actually adjust and customize to your own personal preference. So the enable one-time play, basically whenever you turn on your PlayStation 5, this will automatically turn on the TV. But now when you turn off the console, let's say you don't want it to turn off your television, you want the TV to still remain on, just go ahead and enable power off link right here. Now next time when you turn off your television, or your console I should say, it's not going to turn off your television, so you don't have to power it back on. And pro tip, have HDCP enabled if you're not using a capture card. If you're using a capture card, you're going to have to come back and disable this, because this will actually allow you to use the capture card while you're playing, but it won't allow you to stream anything on Netflix or other copyright protected software. Moving along. If you send yourself a URL link, or somebody sends you one in via message on the PlayStation Store, or PlayStation Network I should say, you can actually open up that link, and this will actually unveil a secret web browser that the PS5 actually does have innovated. Now unfortunately it is missing some key features. That's a massive con, but I found out that you can actually plug in a USB keyboard and you can actually type away some of the things. The only con is you don't have access to the top web browser, so you can actually navigate to different pages. You're basically stuck with the URLs that you receive or send yourself. So that's how you can enable or have access to your web browser. Now if you're like me, you're unsatisfied with the PlayStation 5 internal storage, you can actually expand this with a much faster M.2 SSD. I've done a full video guide tutorial how easy this process is. Literally anybody can do it in my opinion. As long as you have access to tools and you're very patient, you shouldn't have any issues. Check out this video right here. But if you want to do it with an external drive, you can easily do so. The only requirement for this is the storage has to be anywhere between the capacity of 250 to 8 terabyte, and it has to be a super speed SSD or super speed mechanical hard drive as well. As long as it has the blue, or if it's using USB-C like this one, it'll work perfectly fine. Just simply plug it in. You have to go into settings, go into your storage, and you'll see this new screen coming up. Now, the important thing to note, this only supports PlayStation 4 games to be played on the external drive. But you can store your PlayStation 5 games onto an SSD like this one, and allows you to actually move it between your internal storage and that external storage, instead of having to re-download the entire game and use up your broadband capacity in case you're limited with a certain amount that you can't exceed over until you face some unfortunate fees. So this is a quick way to bypass this, but the majority of games even today available on the PlayStation 5 are PS4 compatible, like Warzone and such. So use this to your advantage, but again, I'll recommend the M.2 SSD installation internally. It's actually really easy to do. Again, that video will be referenced in the description as well. Now since we're in the subject of PlayStation 4 games, you might have noticed, since the PlayStation 5 does support HDR, there's a way you can actually personalize and customize it to your preference, because some of these games were not ever designed or intentionally made for HDR. You will find this when you play some PS3 or PS4 title games, and sometimes the HDR just doesn't look that right. So if you want to go ahead and disable this and play the game like how it was supposed to be played, with the correct color settings, go into settings, go into screen and video, and scroll where you see HDR. Select this. You can either have this always on. By default, it's primarily going to be left on this, but go ahead and make it and leave it on when supported. Now, whenever you play those other games that were not intentionally designed to be supported in HDR, the graphics will actually look great and you're actually playing the game like how it's supposed to be played and viewed. Or you could go back and just have it off entirely. Now still in here, go down where you see enabled 120 Hz output. Make sure you leave this on automatic because the PlayStation 5 now does support this. Now if you have a big massive gaming library and sometimes you notice that even on the main menu it shows you like a preview of that game you really don't care about and it's just a game you just don't want to see at all. If you actually go into your settings, go all the way down to save data, game/app settings, scroll down where you say follow games. You can actually tap the manage option right here and unfollow some of these games you just really don't care about. So you have that ability right here. And then if you have a lot of previously downloaded games or you just don't want, you want to clear up the clutter of games that you have in your collection library of things, you can actually like press the little controller line icon right here and actually hide it from this little library in general. And if you want to see some of those hidden games that you you could actually filter them and go back and unhide them this way as well. So it's kind of like how you will hide some photos in your phone's camera roll in a sense. PlayStation can give you that feature with your gaming library and clear up some of this clutter. And since we're still in the menu side of things, if you actually launch your control center, you can actually monitor the battery life percentage of the wireless controller right here. Because as ridiculous it may sound, this feature wasn't added on day one when the PlayStation 5 got released. They innovated this later, so now you are informed in case you were one of the early users. Now the PlayStation 5 controller, you know it has a built-in microphone as well as speaker. You could easily mute the mic by pressing on this once. It'll actually turn amber. If you press and hold, it's gonna start blinking, and when it's blinking it means the speaker and the microphone are disabled. If you want to go ahead and personalize this and customize it even more, in the control center, if you launch this and go into sound, you'll find this disabled game chat audio. If this is turned on, your voice won't be heard and you won't hear the voices of other players. This setting isn't applied to voice chat in parties though. So yeah, whenever you're casually playing your games, you're not in a party, your microphone will be turned off, so you don't have to worry about remembering to make sure this light is amber. And then if you have the media remote from the PlayStation, if you actually turn on your PlayStation 5 with this remote, it will actually automatically take you to the media section. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with the television remote if you have a link with HDMI Link. And then of course, if you turn on your PlayStation 5 with the PlayStation 5 controller, it will take you to the game section. Just thought this was a clever hidden feature. And lastly, the most important essential of them all, if you happen to get your disc stuck inside the PlayStation 5, don't panic, don't get tweeters or anything like that to pull it out. All you simply have to do is just remove this little plastic faceplate or whatever it's called. Just simply pull up on this side and just slide on the bottom end and this plastic piece will easily come off. And then this little black sticker portion right here, it's actually a sticker. You can either get a small flathead screwdriver like this and just rotate and you'll notice the disc will actually come out. This is how you could manually override it. It's really easy. The consumer could easily have access to this instead of how the old days was. It was really complicated. This is just a really easy hidden feature about the PlayStation 5. And just like that, you are now a pro in terms of using your PlayStation 5 at its full potential and utilizing basically all those nitty-gritty features, troubleshoot problems, and all that good stuff. So hopefully you got some good useful information on this video. If you did, I would greatly appreciate if you could actually leave this video a like, as those help me out a lot, and get subscribed, especially if you enjoy a lot of tech videos just like this. And I highly recommend sticking around because I'm still working on that conversion where I convert this PlayStation 5 into a PlayStation 5 Pro. Stick around, it's a really interesting series. That's where I talk about how to install the M.2 SSD, which you could go ahead and watch right here. Process is extremely easy. Highly recommend everybody doing it because the standard storage isn't good enough. And it's a very much more affordable option compared to what Microsoft is doing with their Xbox. And then that video over there, that's just a video YouTube's recommending specifically for you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.